What is up, peeps? It is your butt sprung-out gamer here. I hope that everyone can hear me clearly. So for background ambience, I have Spider-Man playing in the back. You guys can't see it properly because, as you can see, it's quite shaded. The TV is good. It's just it's kind of off to the side. But welcome to the stream, guys. I hope everyone's having a awesome Friday or whatever day you're watching this. I hope your day is going really, really well. So today's topic that I'm going to be talking about here on the channel is actually pertaining to what's in the back, and that is Spider-Man, as you can read from the title. Now, I have played all the Insomniac Spider-Man titles, and my favorite one for sure is definitely the second Spider-Man game that is actually currently playing on the TV. It's my favorite one by far for many different reasons, and I will say the traversal has upgraded immensely. The story is quite good. I really, really enjoyed the story. I thought it was like there was a lot of heart-wrenching moments. For me personally, it's one of the best stories in the Spider-Man game. And a lot of people don't call it that, essentially. But it hits a lot of emotional beats, and I think Yuri Lowenthal's performance as Spider-Man is really, really good. He does a really good job. Najee Jeter, Tony Todd. I wasn't the most gone on Tony, but Tony's quite good. I will say the more I looked at it, the more kind of set in his creep factor. But that's not what I'm here to discuss about in this video. In this video today, what I'm going to be doing is breaking down what I think they could do over the variation of 3 of the next Spider-Man titles, or 2, I should say. But we can pertain to 3. So if anyone doesn't know, they are apparently making this is spoiler territory, so if you're you haven't fully played the game, which at this point it's November, and most people at this point should have played the game. But if you haven't, I would click off now. They had a level in the Spider-Man 2 game with Venom, and you were able to roam around. And there was actually this glitch where you could clip through a certain building by Times Square, and you were actually able to utilize that and free roam around. Now, he didn't have a moveset, but it was kind of base of a moveset. And he's quite cool in the game. He's obviously not Ultimate Spider-Man levels, but he is really, really fun to play. So they are making a spin-off game with him. Apparently, and a lot of people say because of what happened. Actually, I'll write down just in case anyone pops in. Sorry. So essentially, what was I saying? This is why I added my videos. Essentially, like they are making the spin-off, and are going to utilize Venom's moveset because he was cool to play, but he didn't have everything complete, essentially. And I don't believe he's dead. Like a lot of people, some people have heard kind of specified that, because the symbiotes were destroyed at the end of the game, that Venom could have possibly, been destroyed. But if you listen to Doc Connors while Peter is swinging around, you can actually see or hear him say that the the venom symbiote is still inside in the bloodstream, so it lasts. And Peter was able to control that. So for Harry could make a comeback, I would imagine, and possibly pass the symbiote on to someone else, someone like an Eddie Brock type, or somebody of that stature. But I believe with the DLC, that will be its own thing. But for the next 2 Spider-Man games, Miles Morales now is the mainline solo Spider-Man, and that was confirmed by IGN and Insomniac. He is now New York's Spider-Man, which personally I kind of understand, but I'm not the most fond of if they completely count Peter out, because I don't want Peter's story to end, because naturally we've only had 2 games with him and, playable. And I don't want it to be just Miles Morales swinging around and Silk, who's in the end of the game. I would like there actually to be Peter Parker coming back, even if he's not like a main center focus, which preferably is what I prefer, because Peter's my favorite Spider-Man. I'd be fine if he was at least a playable character. So I don't want him to be counted out. But for the next 2 games, I think I love the traversal for Spider-Man 2. They really, really upped it to almost Web of Shadows speed, for example. There are so much intricacies you can do. But Insomniac, if you're listening, I want you guys to take note of this if you possibly could. Or anyone, not take note, but essentially, I was watching a breakdown, and I do believe in it, that Insomniac's web swinging, as everyone knows, isn't physics-based, or if you didn't know, it isn't physics-based fully. They've enhanced the capability now to turn off swing steering assist, swing assist, and essentially you can go further onto the ground to be able to feel the oomph from the web swinging. Essentially, there would be more momentum put into your swings, and traversal would have more momentum as a whole. But in saying that, there are still problems with the second installment of the mainline series. They kind of focused on mostly web wings, I feel. And I heard in a review of the physics swinging, somebody said, would I rather an open world, larger open world, or better web swinging mechanics? He said better web swinging mechanics. I don't agree with that, but just that, I'm glad that they brought Queens of Brooklyn into it. It expands the open world as a whole. But they should essentially utilize more mechanics with traversal. And I think with Insomniac, because I think the combat is fucking awesome, honestly. The combat is Spider-Man 1 dialed up to at least 10 for me, because there's so much intricacies. You can now pull people, you can kick them up into the air, you can use your webs as to kind of yank people around the place. And that is what the combat needed. The combat is awesome for me. I love the combat in the game. The gadgets should make a comeback, but they should have a better system. I think they could enhance the gadgets and put more in there. But they tried to do that in stuff like the web, I forget what it is. It's like the exploding web, the explosive web, or the web bombs. They kind of did that with the web shooters. but I think they could bring some different gadgets back into the mainline series, because they shortened it down to about 4, including your web shooters. But 4 in a wheel, you get like 2 different wheels. Your power, your kind of suit powers, and your gadgets. And don't know why I'm doing this. Not trying to flip anyone off, but that's cool. I like that idea of it being quick to actually be able to get at stuff. Like being able to shoot out a gadget immediately is quite a good innovation. And same with superpowers. It doesn't distract me too much from the game, but I think they could put in definitely more gadgets and possibly more superpowers. But that's just for the combat. The combat is pretty stellar, in my opinion. I think they did a good job, but they have increased a lot with web swinging. The speed is gone to a different level. It feels like a different game with its web swinging. Its mechanics with now being able to, shoot out a web line and being able to walk across it wherever you want, especially in stealth combat, is really, really cool. And from that, you can actually, do a slingshot anywhere in the world, which is cool. And they have points as well for super slingshots. All of that is awesome, and being able to, tether around corners as well. I love that mechanic. But the only thing that they haven't touched on, and they should touch on, there's a lot they can do with the web swinging still. And I'm nitpicky, because I want the swinging shouldn't be held back for players who want that experience. There's obviously players who still want that that experience of being able to swing like it's a movie feel, and they have that. That's what the steering assist is for. But for players who want the challenge, exactly like almost like a Spider-Man 2, but in Insomniac's take, which they've edged close to, I think that's what Insomniac should do. They should implement a couple of different key features, and this is what I believe they should be able to do. I will get into also wall crawling, but this is the first thing I want to touch upon. Essentially, with the mechanics of swinging, you shouldn't be held back. They've made it more free, but at the same time, there's stuff you can't do. I want stuff to be able to be done like, going through small gaps, which you can do now with the web wings, which is cool. But I want to be able to do that with traffic. I want to be able to slide around all the time, like you're able to surf on water. I want to be able to attach a web line, like in Spider-Man 2, where Toby is almost swinging across the building. I want, when you hit a building, to kind of touch it with your hand. And especially when you're looking around, I want you to be able to switch positions. These aren't web swinging mechanics. I'll just go over all of them. Those are the base mechanics, but it is to do with web swinging. With the like the loop-de-loop feature that they've added, it's really, really cool. And I love the feature, but it's still held back. Essentially, what Insomniac is doing is making you have to let go of your web line. That should not be the case. There should be a way and a shortcut to let go of your web line, but in this instance, for swing assist again, or assist with different things, there should be an option to switch that off, and you should be able to swing up, keep loop-de-looping for as long as you want, and stay on a web line. There should be ways to do that, but Insomniac has not incorporated that, and I don't know why. I don't understand why there's only one loop-de-loop feature, or a single kind of like, and you have to dive bomb as well. I'm kind of fine with the dive bomb, but at the same time, there should be another way. It would be great if there was another way. So, like essentially, for anyone who hasn't played the game and who wants to know, you essentially dive down, you attach to like a swing point, you would go around and then up, or around, and whatever way you would get momentum and you push off. Essentially, that should be unlimited. There should be no time where you're forced to hold or let go of your web line if you're holding the R2 button. Or there should be an option, because for Insomniac, I don't know if it's, I think it is hold, yeah. So yeah, you should be able to hold on the web line continuously for loop-to-loop. There should be that case, because it makes it more realistic, for one, and two, people sometimes don't want to leave their web line. Like, I certainly don't want just a single animation, and it would be cool if Insomniac added it in post as a update for this. That Insomniac was like, look, we understand, we want this, but I don't think Insomniac will do this, especially for this game. Like Arkham Knight for me, and the Arkham games, they were like Batman's free almost in traversal, and I want Spider-Man to do the same thing. There are ways of when he's swinging that the webs clip through. I want the webs to actually have real life physics to them as well. You should get shorter the more it's wrapping around the building. Okay, that should be the case as well. Like as it was said by a YouTuber, I'll try and credit him in post, but the YouTuber in question that did the video essay, he had talked about it, and I tend to agree with him. He even talked about the web lines. He's the guy who talked about physics, and it's true. For expert players, there should be physics. It should be completely physics-based. The web line should be able to go shorter. Everything like that. That should be the case because, I understand glitches, but like having a clip through a building and not being able to have that kind of, real life physicality to your swings and different implementations with physics, kind of, it takes something out of the game. That slight bit of immersion is less immersive in terms of the realism. And Spider-Man's not supposed to be real. I understand. Oh my God, Spider-Man's a character, like he's science fiction. But if you look at Spider-Man 2's web swinging, they have this system set up where it's completely physics-based, and you have to know where you're swinging. You have to know what you're doing, and everything like that. And I want that for this game, because or the series, I want Insomniac to, they're probably the best studio to listen to the community that I've ever seen, especially for superhero games, for sure. I don't know any other company that has done that, and that has set the motion, and I that is a good idea. So I think like they should take this feedback and enhance it. You don't got to make the same product as Spider-Man 2, but you should make physics. Like stuff like being able to go through trucks or being able to go through certain buildings, which they've kind of done now, which I think is really, really cool. but it's not fully complete. There's stuff missing. There's elements missing. It's like a really awesome jigsaw puzzle, but the pieces are scattered somewhere and they're not fully put together. And that's what Insomniac kind of has done. Like the mechanics are the jigsaw pieces or the puzzle pieces. They kind of need to, like, I would like for them to also implement when you hit the ground, being able to run, whether it's a button press or whether it's automatically does it. That should be a case. Especially when you swing down, because they've added a shortcut to be able to jump after you land on the ground, but without that, the momentum is taken away. So I'm not saying that you completely speed up, essentially be able to speed up that way. Even the running needs to be faster, and I'll get into that in a minute. But being able to run on the ground would just enhance the experience. There are certain things that they need to do, and I think even a double web line, I'd love to see that back in the Insomniac series. Like, it's been a long, long time since we've got that thing of a double web, and it sounds like I'm pandering to the second Spider-Man game. I am slightly, but because that was the kind of standard for Spider-Man games at the time, you kind of have to take something from that. That's what I want with the web swinging. There's other features. Those are the main ones, and I think if Insomniac implement that, this will be without a doubt the best traversal system, if not one of the best traversal systems in superhero games open world history to me, and in general. Because like you'll get a choice, and like to have the game be complemented and will only enhance the experience, and that's what they've done with this, and especially with like being able to tether around corners and be able to stay on that web line like that. That's why I don't understand, the loop-de-loop feature, why you can't stay on the web line. Because they're able to do it when you're tethering around corners and you're staying on the web. They should have done that for the loop-de-loop. And I don't understand why they didn't implement that. Because it's awesome when you're able to do it, The web wings, I like the addition of the web wings at the start. At the start, I was kind of like not too sure. Because my favorite feature is the web swing. It still is, but it complements, and it's awesome. The web wings are fun to use, but they really need to focus on the web swinging. And the next thing I'll get into is the wall crawling mechanics. That is by far the worst feature in the game, and I say that for the simple reason. And I love Insomniac, again, what you've done with the game, but the wall crawling is the worst in any Spider-Man game by far. Like, it's not fun. Like, I know most people want that momentum and that's what they go for, but like sometimes you just want to crawl up a wall, and just kind of like take it in. They should implement that better wall crawling mechanics, because there are certain surfaces you can't crawl on. There are certain angles you can't climb, and I don't know what it is, but it's almost like if you hold down an RC robot, let's say Robo-Dog or something like that, and it's kind of trying to crawl, but it's sliding its hands and paws across. That is exactly what he does on the wall. It's almost like a blockade, and I don't like that for the simple reason it takes away from the real life kind of realism and experience. Insomniac really, really needs to definitely focus on the wall crawling mechanics and the 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 wall running especially, because with the wall crawling, it's one thing. Like it's the biggest thing. I like the wall running, but the only thing about that is you can't run down, and I don't understand why you can't do that. You can only go in three directions: left, right, or up, and it doesn't make sense why that's the case. That you're only able to go three directions when you run. Um, I kind of didn't understand it. I do and I don't, because in Spider-Man 2 and even Web of Shadows, you're able to run down the building or even slide. You slide down, but in Spider-Man 2 you run down, and enhancing that experience is kind of key, and it's just something they didn't focus on. They definitely didn't focus on the wall running. There's nothing different about it. It's like the wall running and wall crawling has been untouched almost. They, apart from a little bit more speed, being able to crawl around, it's the same, honestly. Um, they should focus on that for the next game, and a little bit more stealth. I like the stealth in this game, but they could enhance that. But especially when you're like when you cling to a wall, you should be able to turn corners, because you can only kind of you can only look left, and then your body kind of like tilts while your hand is still stuck to the wall. That takes away from it, and I don't know why that is either. That they do that, and it's just one angle. It's like they're still trying to fit the jigsaw pieces in, and they haven't fully done it with that. The wall crawling does need a bit of an overhaul. It's not great. It's weak. Like, I don't enjoy wall crawling at all, really. It's the worst feature in the game by far. The wall running is an exception, but I'm hoping, and it gives me hope, because there are files out there apparently that suggest that Insomniac was meant to make a sliding feature, and that's for going down the walls and sliding on the floor, which they should do. Implementing those two features would be next level experience, but especially for going down a building, I want to be able to either run down or slide. Imagine the Spider-Punk suit and being able to play the guitar on a building. How cool would that be? And maybe it shatters windows or something. If they brought back that feature to be able to use the guitar as maybe a suit powers again. They should do that in the web line as well. And also, another thing with the swinging I forgot to mention is climbing up the web. You should be able to do that 100%, because it's just a cool feature if you want to get leveled, above the ground even more. It's just another thing to do that. That's what I think personally, what they should do. And I think over the turn of the next two games, Miles Morales and Spider-Man 3, which apparently is going to have the Sinister Six with Green Goblin. I want the classic Green Goblin, purple and green, and maybe a monstrous version of Green Goblin. But we don't need it. We need the classic Green Goblin, in my opinion. I want that to happen because I love. Green Goblin is probably my favorite villain in the Spider-Man. Like, every time I see the Green Goblin, especially Willem Dafoe's iteration, he's my favorite, and I can't wait to see what they do with that. But for the next game, like, they should focus on story, have a team with the story, and have a team just solely focusing on traversal. Because while they're advancing over the next two games, as I say, they should come up with more things to, make you even more like Spider-Man, and we need a physics-based system, a proper physics-based system, not a cutoff, because it takes away from the experience. And while I love the game, I see the imperfections in it, and the certain stuff that they could implement, and what's not there. But I hope that Insomniac does take from the community, because I'm fairly certain I'm not the only one who talks about the wall crawling, the swinging physics, and even certain things with maybe stuff you can do around the world or whatever. But mostly web swinging and wall crawling for sure. The wall crawling needs an overhaul for sure, and the web swinging needs to be implemented into physics. But that is, that is the video, I think. I'm looking forward to hopefully the Venom DLC. Tony Todd has teased it. So I think that will be coming maybe just before Miles Morales. I would hope that they would do that. And if anyone was to do it, which I don't understand why Insomniac teased that Harry was Venom, and then they were saying like he's never been Venom before, when in either Ultimate Spider-Man or the Spider-Man 2017 cartoon on Disney, he was Venom. Not Agent Venom, but he was a variation of Venom. But I think it would be cool if they brought in maybe Eddie Brock. I'd like to see Eddie Brock for a DLC, because Eddie's the man. And I want, I would like, I'm sorry, I mean, I do want, but I would like, them to really, really up the mechanics. We need it. We need it, Insomniac. You're getting so close to perfection with your mechanics. I love your game. It's addictive. But please implement physics for pro players. You're nearly there. You're grasping and touching the surface. And also with the hand touching on the floor, that should be a thing that you can do. Because you can kind of do that, but there should be a thing where if you saw the cutscene where he first suits up in the advanced suit in Spider-Man 1, he touched off the floor and rubbed his fingers. I want that. I want that for the game. And another thing, to be able to shoot up on 2 web lines. Like pull yourself up like Web of Shadows and then swing off 2 web lines. There should be so much. By the 3rd game, I want this. I want this to be the case. Otherwise, there would be a part of me that's disappointed. Of course, I'll play the game, but I want that perfect experience in Spider-Man to complement it, because these games are so good. They're getting better each time, and I want it to only go up from there. But yeah, guys, I think that's the video. With Miles Morales, they're gonna do that. Like, I want another Miles Morales game, and then Spider-Man 3, I want Peter and Miles to be in it. But that's gonna do it for the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys did, please leave a like, and if you agree with me, yeah, leave a like. Comment down below your thoughts. If you disagree with me, leave me a dislike. It's whatever. Whichever you'd like to do. Subscribe to the channel. I hope to make more content. I might be taking time off, YouTube for a bit, only because I don't have the necessary tools to make videos all the time. I've only been able to do this over the last couple of days because I've had access to computer. But over the next couple of days, in the next few days, I'm gonna have to take a possible hiatus for a while. I hope you guys can understand and be patient with me, and I hope to make more videos. Because I don't like neglecting the YouTube channel, and I want you guys to enjoy the videos, and maybe it makes your day, and I hope it does, and everything like that. Yeah, so comment down below, let me know what you think. be sure, to subscribe, everything like that. And I will catch you guys soon in the next one. Until then, peace out, peeps. And subscribe, but sorry. I still need to figure out my outros.